Hello everyone, and welcome to another Tamagotchi review video. This time I'm going to be reviewing the Tamagotchi Paradise and giving my thoughts on this latest model from Bandai in terms of the Tamagotchi franchise. Now, I did unbox this a little bit ago, so I won't go over all of the functionality that I went over then, but what you can see is that I've currently got an adult here, and as you can see, one of the features that I like is the fact that previous generations kind of hang out on that screen there just briefly, however. So I have a fairly happy rock surrounded by poo, as you do, and one of the features on the Tamagotchi Paradise is when you clean up the poo here, it goes into like a fuel canister to be used for Tamagotchi traveling. It also goes through all the fields that you have as you do unlock them as you get different generations and as they evolve. So first complaint straight away, I'm not a huge fan about how long that animation takes just to clean the poo. It should be a little bit quicker. I get that it has to clean across all the fields, kind of, but for the most part you're probably only going to be cleaning poo from one of them. Not really sure why it needs to be as long if the other fields don't have poo on them. So that's kind of like a little minor nitpick there. However, I will jump into my main complaint about this Tamagotchi Paradise, and this is something that is absolutely just my opinion on it. Some people love this, others hate it. I feel like it's one of those things that is completely subjective because you either love this or you hate it, and that is the interface. So while you navigate through 4 different screens, so you've got the cell where you can kind of check the stats. You press A on that screen to check out your stats on the Tamagotchi, and you can kind of see at a glance the sort of care that you've taken. So you've got little squiggles to signify care mistakes. You've got the diet represented by different types of food, and you've got if it's happy or not. So it does kind of show you that there, that I do like. But however, having the stat screen on just one very far away screen rather than it being the first thing you see, that's a little bit annoying. While I do like the fact that you can at a glance see this all here in sort of like represented by little icons, I'm not sure why I have to like zoom all the way in just to see the stats when it should be something I can see at a click of a button anytime, like with previous models of Tamagotchi. So if we zoom out to our main Tamagotchi screen, we've got where we can clean the Tama. Now this isn't poo cleaning, this is just bathing. You can feed them, you can play with them. So as I mentioned, this being my main complaint is the user interface. I feel like it's extremely different from other models and it's not particularly user friendly, at least for me. So when I see this menu, I think of it as a normal menu. So I've got options 1, 2 and 3, but the option that's selected is actually the middle option. So whatever is on the middle is the one that's currently selected. That, I don't know why, but that doesn't really make sense to me. When I see a menu, the first one is the first option, the second option is the second option, the third one is the third option. Yes, I know that it's slightly bulging out. You can kind of see that the selected one is bulging out on the side here, but it's very minimal. If I'm not wearing my glasses, they all look the same size. So not a big fan of that. I took a while to realize, oh, I'm navigating to feed. Wait, no, that's play. It just didn't feel right to me. You can also navigate it with the dial, but I feel like it kind of overshoots a lot, so I'm just using the buttons normally. And you kind of navigate the menu like that, and then it goes back to a normal Tamagotchi menu. This is the same as what we've seen in a lot of the more recent ones. I'm not sure why we're back to normal menus here. And then we've got this one, which is huge menu icons that aren't like, they're not like icons, they're actually text. I do prefer it when it has like just icons like we had in the Tamagotchi Smart, like we have in most Tamagotchi, just represented by icons rather than these big kind of like blobs. And it's not a touchscreen, so it makes no sense for them to be this big, especially because we go to the feed menu again, it's just a normal Tamagotchi menu there. So yeah, the next thing I don't like about the user interface is that there are 5 separate menus. So we zoom out a little bit and we've got the option to change fields. That's not too bad because we are in like slightly zoomed out. You can do egg hunt, which you look for ingredients. You can clean the poo. So while it does make sense to have them segmented, it kind of also makes it a UI nightmare, at least in my opinion. And then we go zoom out further still, and we get things like connection, check the planet level, travel, all the things that you can do outside of the planet. So yes, I do get why they're separated. I just personally feel like it's not super user-friendly. So those are 4 menus, and then when we hold down this button here, we go to the Tamagotchi lab. Now, this is not to be confused with the other Tamalab, which I don't know why they named 2 things Tamalab. So we've got the Tamalab, which has like your sitter option, and again, we're back to the old menu for some reason. We've got lab log, we've got settings. These are all sort of things that I guess make sense to be here. However, the other Tamalab is those giant Tamagotchi stations. They had them for the meets in Japan. As far as I'm aware, they don't plan on bringing them to Australia, so I can't really talk too much about them because I don't know, which is a shame because they do have the ability to get exclusives from these Tamalabs, but again, I'm not sure why we have 2 things called Tamagotchi. We have the Tamagotchi Lab, which is the functionality on the Tamagotchi itself, and then we've got the Tamalab, which is a giant thing. So here you can do mini games. Now, not to be confused with the other games on the device. So you have games here which are to get gotchi points, and then you've got games from the Tamagotchi main screen, which is I guess what I call like the screen, the orange screen. When you're zoomed in, you can feed it. These games are just for happiness. So another one of my complaints is I'm not sure why we have separate areas. Usually in the majority of Tamagotchi games, the games will give you happiness and gotchi points rather than having them hidden in this menu here. Again, I'm not sure why the menus all have different designs. So we have this one which is more standard. We've got icons to represent different things, and then when we go to the next option, we've got like the small buttons like we have in, I would say, the grand majority of the most recent modern color Tamagotchis. So that's pretty normal. And then we've got the menus here, which are giant buttons that have the first option not being the first option being the second option. And again, it's inconsistent from the other menus. So I'm not sure why we have 3 different menu designs for more or less the same kind of thing. Also, the fact that the menus are 5 separate menus in different places, so the Tamalab and the 4 different levels of how zoomed in you are. And also, I don't know why we can't just press C or press any button just to get to like the stat screen. B and C do nothing. We can't look up the time. We can't check the stat screen just easily. We have to actually zoom all the way in and press A from this screen. And we get all the information there. I don't know why it's that separate. I don't know, it should be something that we get at all times. Again, my main gripe is the user interface. Some people might really like it. Some people might hate it. From everyone I've spoken to about the matter, it's absolutely one of those love it or hate it things. I just really hate it. So that's like my main complaint. I just wanted to stress that because I really don't like it. The zooming in is a gimmick, I guess it's fine, but sometimes I find like I have to like really spin it hard, and it's winter at the moment in Australia and I have Raynaud's, so my hands don't work super well when they're cold. My joints hurt. So this is an absolute nightmare to use from like, I don't know, is ergonomic the right word? From an ergonomic perspective, it's an absolute nightmare to spin, especially if you have anything that makes your hands not super good, be it the cold weather hurting you in a certain way, or just if you don't have good movement with your hands. The fact that you need to use this is a nightmare. At least you don't have to navigate the menus with it, because you can just navigate the menus normally, but spinning the dial to get to these different screens, it hurts. And that's completely like, that is not something that a lot of people are going to encounter, because not everyone has an issue with moving the dial. So that's kind of annoying. So it's extremely like not super user friendly again from my point of view as someone who is suffering with their hands at the moment. I find that that's not super fun and actually hurts. Like just displaying it is hurting my hands right now because it's like, I think it's like 7 degrees at the moment. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the dial. I get it as a gimmick, I get it as something that's different and new to the Tamagotchi, so I can't fault it too much. But yeah, I find it kind of like fiddly. Like I'm trying to zoom out and I really have to like turn it quite a bit, and again, my hands are hurty. Another thing I'm not a big fan of is the fact that I have to like, I don't get constant use of the time. Like I kind of have to like let it sit there for a bit until it decides to show me the time. That feels weird, considering, you know, the Tamagotchi used to have just, you know, you press B and then the time would show up. The fact that you have to just kind of wait on this screen until it decides to show you the time, that's kind of annoying. I guess you can pick it up and it's already in this view and then you should see the time, that's fine. But the time in the stat screen should be something that I can just see from a button press. I should be able to see it from, like, maybe not this screen, but like definitely this screen. Like I should be able to press like C to get the stat screen, B to get the time, but no, I have to zoom in all the way to get the stats and zoom all the way out to get the time, which just feels fairly annoying to get. Another thing with this Tamagotchi Paradise, and it's neither a complaint or something I like, is the fact that you have to unlock things. Now that does make the Tamagotchi kind of like have a better longevity in terms of how long you can play it. Like you kind of want to keep on playing it and unlock more things so you can do more things with it. So that I get, but you can't buy food in the Tamagotchi until you've got your 2nd generation adult. So you level up your planet and then each level has different requirements to unlock it. So you can only unlock this meal icon here. Again, but it's a different menu setup. So you can organize the menus with things that you've found from the egg hunt, and different food help determine what evolution that you get. So that's kind of nice that it's using kind of like the Dinky Dino approach of having a diet. It seems more involved than what we've seen from previous Tamagotchis, which, yes, feeding them a certain icon or item, that will make them evolve a different way. This one seems much more than a diet rather than, hey, you fed them ramen, so you're going to get Ginjirochi now. So it's more involved there, which I do like, but the fact that it takes a little bit of grinding to get out, like we do have the egg hunt, which gets the ingredients, and I like this feature. It reminds me of getting the ingredients for the magical witches for your potions, so I kind of like that Bandai bringing something almost that we haven't seen since the magical witches, at least for the most part. Yes, we do have the Tama Walk feature in the uni, but this one feels more like the magical witches because you don't interact with it. It's just a cute little animation that plays and then you get the stuff. I do like how you call out previous generations of Tamagotchi to help you. I like how they're not just limited to a menu. You can actually interact with your older Tamagotchi characters that have been bred already. So we get our items, and then we can feed them and help determine what evolutions we're going to get. So that's fine. That's not really something that's either here nor there. However, again, my main complaint is the user interface. It's extremely annoying for me. Again, this doesn't feel super user-friendly. If you've got any condition that hinders your mobility at all, it's not particularly great ergonomically. In terms of its size, it's a little bit bigger than the Pix because of this. So obviously much bigger than the Tamagotchi Uni or Tamagotchi Smart. Again, I did compare the sizes briefly in my unboxing video, so I won't go over that too much. So the size is kind of annoying. I'm not really a huge fan of the size. Yes, it does make sense because we're back to batteries, which is something that I actually prefer, because the Tamagotchi Uni and Tamagotchi Smart, you do recharge them, which is great in the short term, but in the long term, you know, if anyone, as I said in the unboxing video, anyone who's had like a PSP to sit in a drawer and then one day they pull it out and it's suddenly like forbidden ravioli in terms of like how swollen it is suddenly a death pillow. Yeah, I don't really want that in something that is a toy that maybe I want to play again in 10 years, because that makes the functionality a little bit better. I do like the fact that I can just take the batteries out if I want to not play with it for a while. Yes, there is a timer setter for just during the day, but if I don't want to play it for long periods of time, just take the batteries out, press the reset button. That's a lot better than having to like go to the debug menu and power it off like we saw in the Tamagotchi Uni. Much more user-friendly, so I do prefer the batteries. A lot of people are kind of torn because you have to like buy batteries instead of just plugging it in. I prefer the batteries. You can just get rechargeable ones. Rechargeable batteries are actually pretty good now. You can get quite a bit of playtime out of them, and then just buy a bunch and then just have some on charge and then just swap them in and out. That's fine. The battery life is fine. I've been running it for almost 3 weeks now and it hasn't gone flat yet, so more or less I'm expecting the same battery life from the Pix Wave 2, which I think I had that for about a month or two before I had to change the batteries. But then again, the Pix had a camera and this one does not. Last thing I want to talk about is the fact that we've gone back to prongs. Now, we haven't seen prongs on a Tamagotchi virtual pet since the Mesuochi in 1997, I believe. I think it was around the same time as the original Digimon releases. So we haven't seen the prongs. We've gone for infrared, we've gone for NTSC, we've gone for Bluetooth, we've gone for a few different ways to... Did I say NFC? What is wrong with me? NFC. Don't know how that happened. Don't know how I mean, maybe I'll watch it back and I said it completely correctly, but I just went like, did I pronounce that right? I'm sorry, it's still early morning here. But yeah, we're going back to prongs. Some say it's more cost effective. I say it's annoying because you kind of have to lock them in, which, yeah, it is. It takes a little bit longer than your Digimon, but you kind of have to like shove them in, and then you can't just like set them on a table because of these here, unless you set them face down, but then you can't see their screens. You can't just like balance them too much. They do slide around. You have to actually hold them. So that's something that is not like a huge complaint. It's not going to like stop me from enjoying it. It's just something I noticed. I don't really know why we didn't go just back to infrared. Sure, maybe Bluetooth or NFC is too expensive. Infrared, you know, that's been around since the Tamagotchi connection. I don't know why we didn't just go with that rather than the prongs. So that's a weird thing. And also this, I keep on fiddling with this. It is so satisfying to fiddle with this here. I'm sure it's going to pop off one day. This is kind of fun to fiddle with when it's not hurting my hands. Mainly the button just pressing. It's kind of like a fiddly nightmare in a good way, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say. It's, I would say it's probably the worst color modern from the last decade. It's not as fun as the Tamagotchi Uni. It's not as fun as the Pix by far. Yes, it doesn't need any Wi-Fi, which is good. It means that it's not reliant on servers. I don't have to like worry about that down the track, which I do have to worry about for the Tamagotchi Uni. But it's not as complete as the Tamagotchi Pix in terms of I actually have to connect to other things to unlock the ability to get to the secret character, because each color of the shell has a different exclusive character. Just one, so it's not too bad, but it's not as complete as the Tamagotchi Pix, which is like everything that you would ever want is already on it. You don't have to buy smart cards, you don't have to buy DLC like with the Tamagotchi Smart or the Tamagotchi Uni. So it is complete as is, which is fine, but I still don't like it as much as the previous models. I do have the UI complaint, which is a big one for me. I just find it not super intuitive and does take a lot of getting used to. Even now I'm still not getting used to. Again, I'm not sure why the menu has gone from, because there's separate menus that say, hey, the first one is the first option. I don't know why we're going back to, see, even now I'm just like, which one is the one selected? Is planet level selected or is connection? I don't know. So see how the first one is the first option in the menu here and now it's not here. See, that's just a big thing for me. It's just really irritating. But again, maybe someone likes the interface that's watching this, and if you do, I'm really glad that you do, but I do not. again, subjective versus objective. If you like the Tamagotchi Paradise, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying that I don't necessarily like as much as previous models. I don't like super hate it, I just find that it's got a lot of things I don't like with it. In terms of my rating for enjoyment and ease of use, I'm going to give both a 6 out of 10. Maybe worse, maybe like a 5 out of 10 for ease of use. Usually I say ease of use is how difficult the thing actually is, but mine is just, my gripe is just again with the user interface. But in any case, that's all I want to say about it. Should you get the Tamagotchi Paradise? Sure. I'm not going to dissuade anyone from getting it. Just know that my gripes are with the user interface. And if you think that you're going to get annoyed by the user interface, maybe it's not for you. Maybe go get a Tamagotchi Pix or something. But in any case, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, etc. in the comment section below. Like this video for, hey, at least we're back to batteries that won't explode in 10 years. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!